What if I told you that you can change your past? What if I told you that you can go back and change an event in your life and therefore change your present and future? What if I told you that you have the power to change a current situation with your mind and even change how other people are showing up for you? This is not just wishful thinking. This is a technique by one of the greatest manifesting teachers, Neville Goddard. It's called revision, and it helps us change past events and therefore heal emotional wounds, shift limiting beliefs, and completely transform our lives. I know it sounds crazy, and that's why I'm not going to ask you to believe me. I'm going to ask you to try it for yourself and then come back and let me know and maybe thank me. And I will ask you to stay till the end of the video because I have a gift that will help you use this technique to completely change your past. So let's get started. All right, so what is revision? Neville Goddard taught us that we can revise past events in our life, and by revising them, we are changing the energetic imprint that that event had. And therefore, because our subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between real and imagined, we can use our imagination to change that past event and therefore change its repercussions in our current reality. Let's go step by step. How does this really work? It all starts by understanding that our current reality is simply a projection of our inner state of consciousness. You may have seen my mirror principle video, but it all starts by understanding that life is like a mirror. You have an image and you have a reflection. The image is your mind, and the reflection is your life. What happens is that what's in your mind is not simply your consciousness, what you want your life to look like and the things that you want for yourself. Your mind is heavily influenced by your unconscious mind, and your unconscious mind is heavily influenced by your core beliefs. Your core beliefs have been built based on experiences that you lived in the past. What do I mean by this? Well, for example, if you maybe failed an exam in the past, that may have created the belief that you are not smart enough. And because you go through life believing that you are not smart enough, and because life is a reflection, a projection of your state of mind, if you believe that you're not smart enough, you're going to think, act, and perform according to that core belief. And therefore, you're going to continue experiencing in your life that reality that you are not smart enough. Now, what would happen if you can go and change the experience that created this core belief? Because let's recap. There was an experience that created a core belief. Let's say the experience is fail the exam. The core belief is I am not smart enough. Therefore, this created emotional patterns. Oh, I always think, feel, and act like I am not smart enough. Emotional patterns. And therefore, that is what I experience in my reality. Now, if I can change this experience that implanted the belief that I am not smart enough, I will no longer believe that I'm not smart enough. And therefore, I will no longer feel, think, and act like I am not smart enough. And therefore, my current reality will change because I will no longer sabotage myself. I'm giving you the example of failing the exam, but in reality, this can happen with many things. A lot of us have trauma, especially relating to our caretakers, right? Usually the experience is, I don't know, my parents didn't see me. My parents were too busy and they couldn't validate me. They couldn't make me feel seen. this experience created the core belief that I am unworthy, because if I was unworthy of my parents' love and attention, that must mean that I am unworthy. Therefore, my constant emotional pattern is that of a person who has no value. Therefore, what I continue to experience is in my reality are situations that validate this core belief, which means maybe I continue to date people who don't make me feel seen, or maybe I continue to not be able to succeed in my business because I don't feel seen, and therefore I can't find clients because I don't feel worthy. And if I don't see my own worth, why would my clients see my worth, right? So usually our current reality is a projection of our state of consciousness, but that state of consciousness comes from early experiences. So what Neville Goddard tells us is that if we can go back, change these experiences, and therefore completely change the end result. All right, you may be thinking, okay, yes, this sounds great, but how do you want me to go and change an experience? I don't have a time machine. It sounds great in theory, but in practice, there's no way to go to the past and change it. Well, I don't know about that, because if you think about it, time is an illusion. In fact, this is not my quote. This is by Albert Einstein. Time is an illusion. Past, present, and future don't really exist. Everything exists everywhere all at once. That means that I can access the past and change it. If you think about it, your past exists only in your mind. There isn't somewhere else where the past exists. The past is in your imagination. And in fact, you are unconsciously changing your past all the time, whether you're doing revision or not. Every time that you retrieve a memory, you're changing it. You're changing it according to your current beliefs. You're changing it according to your emotional states or the emotional imprints that it left on you. So you can never really access the past objectively exactly as it happened. You are always using your mind to retrieve the past, and therefore you are always changing it, which means that you can actually intentionally use your imagination to change the past and therefore change its emotional imprint and therefore change the patterns that are currently associated to that past experience. Joe Dispenza tells us that 70% of people live from the past. This means that the ways we think, act, and perform, the ways that we react, and even the paradigms through which we see life are heavily affected by our past and by our beliefs about ourselves and life. If we change the past, we change the present. And now I'm going to teach you how to do this revision technique that will change your life. All right, so how are you going to do revision? It's very simple. You are going to find a comfortable position. You are going to get into a relaxed meditative state, and you're going to choose what event you want to change. It can be a past trauma, it can be an action of yourself, it can be something that someone told you, it can be the way in which a situation unfolded, right? It can be an exam that you didn't pass or whatever you want. Once you choose that situation, you're going to get into your meditative state. You're going to bring that situation to mind, bring the feelings that it made you feel, and then you're going to rewrite that story. Basically, you're going to use the power of your imagination to imagine how you want it to happen, always using it for good, always in a way that is for the greatest good, obviously. All right. So you're going to rewrite that situation in your mind and you're going to think it feelingly. What do I mean by think feelingly? You're going to really feel the emotions of that situation going in this new way that you want it to go, right? You imagine it and you repeat it in your mind, feeling all of the good feelings that the new scene would create. Once you connect with all of these feelings, what you're doing is rewriting that story in your mind. The way that you have to do it is really believing in this new story, because that's how you basically imprint the new significance of that situation in your mind. And therefore, once you change it in your mind, you're going to be changing how its implications in the present moment, basically. The secret of revision is to repeat it until the new scene feels real, and then let go. And then let go and trust that the implications of the new scene will begin to sprout in your reality. Now, why does this technique work? Easy. Your subconscious mind is the blueprint of your reality. Your reality is a mirror projecting back at you everything that is in your subconscious mind. The moment that you use your imagination to change your subconscious mind, you're changing the blueprint, and therefore the reflection will change. That's why you can use this to change current situations, not only your past, and you can even use it to change how other people show up for you. I know this sounds crazy. Can I actually change other people? Yes, you can, because everyone in your reality is a reflection of your own assumptions about them. So the moment you revise someone else in your mind, what you're doing is changing your assumptions about them. The moment that you change your assumptions about them, they will change, because people are mirroring your own beliefs to you. Now, does this mean that if I revise someone else, I am going to be changing them or messing with their free will? Not necessarily. The whole point is that people and reality are mirrors of your state of consciousness. So the moment that you shift your consciousness, you shift your expectations about them, you change how you perceive them, and therefore they unconsciously will change. It's like you shift your own consciousness to assume a new version of them, and therefore that's what you experience in your reality. How do you change how someone else shows up? Exactly in the same way that you revise a past event. You go to whatever situation, whatever conversation you had with them, and you imagine them acting in the way that aligns with the present moment that you want to experience. What I'm going to say is know when to use revision and when to accept what is, okay? Use revision when there's a past trauma or pain that is hurting you, that is limiting your beliefs, and that is keeping you from fulfilling your highest potential. But use acceptance when we're talking about something that comes from attachment or fear, right? Trying to manifest a specific person does not come from acceptance. It comes from attachment. It comes from fear. And in fact, it comes from your limiting beliefs of, I cannot find better, so I want that person, right? So really choose wisely when you're going to use revision, because all of these techniques should always be used for the highest good. And it is not in your favor, it will not turn out in your favor if you use revision to get things out of attachment or fear. Know when to accept what is, and know when to revise in order to heal, in order to become a better version of yourself. So before using revision, ask yourself, is this going to help me be my best version? Or is this going to keep me acting from my lowest self, my ego, my attachment issues, and my fear? Remember, the paradox of manifesting is that the less you try to force and bend reality, the more it effortlessly unfolds beautifully. Manifesting is not about controlling the external circumstances, but about becoming the person who lives in better circumstances. It's about improving yourself so that the reflection that reality projects back at you is improved. The moment you improve, reality improves. The moment you change, reality changes. So use revision not to control or force current circumstances, but to heal and therefore become a better version of yourself. And I told you that I had a gift for you, and that is a guided revision technique meditation that I made so you can use this revision technique that I just taught you about with my guidance. So if you want to start using this technique, click either here or here. I don't know where it's going to be, but click on this link and start revising now. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a like, comment, share it with your loved ones, subscribe to my channel, and stay tuned for more content like this. I hope to see you soon.